My speech was really an exposition of the challenges that we're all facing, whether it's the US, UK, European countries, relating to the international laws that govern us, and an invitation to like-minded partners on the global stage to work with us, work together to try and reform and find a more workable solution.
Because it is a worldwide problem, Home Secretary, it needs a worldwide solution. Do you think they're listening to you?
Listen, I do. I think that what I was saying in my speech was actually an echo of what many other world leaders have said in the past, whether it's David Cameron or Angela Merkel or Nicolas Sarkozy. But we are seeing play out, not just in the US on the southern border, but in Lampedusa, in Italy. I talked about it in my speech. Record numbers of people overwhelming a small island, and the EU really grappling with this unprecedented challenge. So we are all facing a global migration crisis. It requires a global solution. We should work together to try and get it right. Democratic mayor of New York recently said that this is out of control and it's going to destroy the city. And I think that's quite astonishing for someone on the progressive end of the political spectrum to be saying this is totally unacceptable. So whether it's New York City, whether it's the border with Texas, whether it's Italy, whether it's the Channel, we need to look again at whether these international rules are fit for purpose. And what I said in my speech is that there's a lot at stake. There's democratic legitimacy, which is at stake. People want control of their borders, and they want governments to get a grip on this. And if we don't, it will lead to a disintegration in our society. And we need to change. We need to change some of the definitions relating to refugee persecution. It needs to be a high bar if someone is coming to our country fleeing persecution, not a low bar.
After Suella spoke in DC, the UN's refugee agency, the UNHCR, made an intervention defending the 1951 convention, saying it remains as relevant today as when it was adopted. I asked the Home Secretary about her concerns.
These documents, these conventions, as you said, were born out of the World War II tragedy and global movements of people. But they were designed for a smaller number of people before the age of cheap travel, before the age of social media, and before the age of the geopolitics that we're seeing today, which are causing this mass movement of people to the Western world, largely. And so I think it's a reasonable question to ask. Are these documents and rules that we set in another world, in another era, still fit for the 21st century and the challenges that we face today? I don't think they are. Not everybody coming to the UK on a boat is a refugee or is fleeing persecution. Number one, they're coming from France. They're coming from a safe country, an EU member state, a member of NATO, a leading ally in the world. There is no humanitarian reason why anyone should be leaving France. Secondly, many of these people are gaming the system. We know that they will lie about their ages. We know in about 50% of cases, when we challenge the age, the government is right and the claimant is wrong, and they're actually adults pretending to be children. They may lie about their religion. They may lie about being married to someone or having a family member here. So there is a lot of gaming of our system, and we need to inject more rigor and robustness into our framework and actually deterrence. And that's why our partnership with Rwanda is absolutely essential to solving this problem.
This week, Labour's Shadow Home Secretary Yvette Cooper said Suella Braverman had given up on fixing what they call the asylum chaos. I put this to the Home Secretary and got a robust response.
The Labour Party is clueless on this issue. They would scrap our Rwanda plan. They would fundamentally open our borders. They want to renegotiate with the EU returns agreement. The EU's even said that's a stupid or deluded idea. And they are effectively a party for open borders, unlimited migration, and I'm afraid rejoining the EU. So on any basis, the numbers heading to our country are too high. We cannot take this level of migration. There's too much pressure on our housing and accommodation, on our health services, on our school places, and we need to be able to control this better.
In a statement, the Labour Party told GBNews, it's fictional garbage from a Home Secretary who is failing so badly to fix the Tory chaos in the asylum that she's now making things up about everyone else. The Tories have lost control of our border security as criminal smuggler gangs have taken hold of the channel. The Conservatives have broken the asylum system, with the taxpayer now spending $8 million a day on hotels, and returns of failed asylum seekers have dropped by a shocking 70% since they came to power. Labour went on to say only Labour has a plan to end the chaos in Britain's asylum system.